In the mid-1980s, a rare Beatles compilation called Sessions almost saw the light of day, but the surviving members of the band stopped it before it reached the public. The album was meant to collect previously unreleased recordings from the group's archives, including alternate takes and songs that never made it to their classic albums. However, Paul McCartney strongly opposed the release, and George Harrison, along with John Lennon's estate, insisted the project be cancelled completely. Originally planned for release in 1985, Sessions would have featured 13 unreleased Beatles songs such as Leave My Kitten Alone and an alternate version of Obla Di, Obla Da. EMI hoped the album would reignite interest in the band's legacy, but the Beatles themselves felt uncomfortable with the idea of releasing unfinished or rejected material. To them, it was like someone digging through private creative memories and presenting them without the band's full approval. This wasn't the first time EMI had revisited old Beatles material. Previous compilations like the Beatles ballads, love songs, and the Hollywood Bowl live album had been released successfully. Yet Sessions crossed a line for the group. They wanted control over how their legacy was shared. In the end, the band's objection was enough to cancel the album entirely. Despite the cancellation, Sessions was not lost to history. A decade later, the concept was reborn as the Beatles Anthology, a massive official project that gave fans a much deeper, more personal look at the band's story. Many of the songs intended for Sessions eventually appeared on Anthology 1, 2, and 3, fully restored and presented with the band's blessing. After Sessions was canceled, bootleg copies began to circulate among collectors. Fans who got their hands on them were thrilled to hear new Beatles tracks, even in rough quality. Radio stations in New York played Leave My Kitten Alone, fueling the buzz. Before long, unauthorized versions of the album appeared in record stores and fan conventions like Beatlefest. Years later, Beatles enthusiasts reflected on that era online. Some were nostalgic about discovering the bootlegs in the pre-internet days, while others debated the poor sound quality of certain mixes that later made it onto Anthology. For many, though, Sessions became a fascinating what-if moment in Beatles history, a reminder of how the band carefully protected their artistic legacy, even decades after they stopped recording together. In the end, the decision to cancel Sessions may have been a blessing. It paved the way for Anthology, a far more meaningful project that celebrated the band's journey on their own terms, letting fans experience their story exactly as the Beatles wanted it to be told.